Dr. Wilcox with us this morning. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
I just found out a few minutes ago that your dad was an eye doctor.
Oh, yes. A brilliant, phenomenal eye doctor.
Back in simpler times.
Yes. Who was telling you that?
Ralph.
Oh, yeah.
Ralph said that he was having a lot of trouble seeing. He went to your dad, and your dad examined him, and he said, all right, cover your one eye with your hand and look at that dot on the wall. And Ralph did, and he said, now take that, cover your other eye and look. And Ralph said the dot disappeared. His eyes weren't working together. Stigmatism, is that called?
Number of things it can be.
But your dad put him in glasses, and that strengthened both eyes, and they started working together.
Well, my dad, it's a phenomenal guy. I don't like either of my parents because they set the bar so high as to what excellent is. I'm spending the rest of my life trying to get to their level of excellence. So, he, brilliant guy, actually worked on Skylab.
Really?
Yeah, he worked directly with the astronaut, Alan Shepard, and worked on it. There's a chair that's in the Smithsonian in the mock-up Skylab that he participated in studying how the eyes move when in your ears you have these semicircular canals, and they made this chair that pitched at different angles, and you spin people around and watch their eyes move, and helped make the first progressive lenses. Did research that. Smart, wonderful guy. 12 children. I'm the best, but the 11 argue with me about that.
12 children.
Yeah.
Where are you in the 12 children range?
I'm number 6.
Okay, right smack dab.
Well, not smack dab. It's an even number, but we don't consider my brother Paul in the order. But,
okay.
I worked a decade with my father.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, and he actually, I actually just had yesterday. I had somebody in the office who worked at Nostra, which is in Yorktown at the Naval Weapons Station. They make all the glasses for half the Navy, for half the world. And a gentleman who worked with my father was there. It's kind of funny. Yesterday, we were talking about Dad and just what a wonderful commander he was. And today, so something's going on. Dad's thinking about me. You know?
It's funny. My neighbor who passed away, Mr. Budd, worked on the first unmanned space program.
Yes.
He worked on that. And he had a bunch of autographed pictures from astronauts and stuff.
I think, come to think of it, you just said that. I think the first unmanned space program was when a cave woman kicked her cave husband out of the cave.
It might have been, yeah. And
Get out of here.
My mom was a supervisor in a hospital, and she set new standards for discipline at home, yeah. What you can legally be hit with without going to jail, which was just about anything in those days. All right, I had mentioned to you that I wanted to talk about, it's just come up bits and pieces in conversation when you've been with us, fasting. And you preach fasting, what it has to do with my eyes.
Well, the eyes are part of the brain, and the brain is part of the body. See, here's something I'll teach you to do real fast. If you take your fingers and put them on the back of your neck, 4 fingers, back of your neck, right below that bump on your skull,
right.
And don't move your head, but just move your eyes back and forth, and you'll feel the neck muscles move. Okay?
I feel something.
Okay,
yeah.
right. You're going, holy cow, I'm moving my eyes side to side, and my neck muscles are contracting. Well, that's because in order to see, for you to turn your head and your body and your eyes and to see, everything has to be calibrated. It's kind of like one of those Aegis-class destroyers that's on a ship shooting down an incoming missile from God knows where, at what rate and speed and declination and all that stuff. And as complicated as that is, our bodies are trillion times more complicated. So it's been a heck of a week at the office with these horrible, bad cases of people who are partially blind to fully blind from diabetic retinopathy and whatnot. And so I tell people no one's ever sat in the exam chair and said, I'm glad I'm half blind. Nobody. Right. 31 years. I'm glad I'm 3/4 blind. Nobody ever has. But so it's my job to do a good job. And I don't say this all the time, but when it comes up, and until you fire me, I'm going to do a good job. And you fire me by not coming back, right?
Right.
And so I'm going to tell you what you need to know for tomorrow. I look at people, and I can tell about yesterday by looking at their eyes, and then here you are today, and I can forecast tomorrow. You learn a thing or two over 3 decades of looking at eyeballs. So.
Okay, you're gonna.
Okay.
I've got to put a brakes on here. How can you look at me and tell about yesterday? Now I understand how you can tell about tomorrow because if I've got a problem, you can anticipate what's going to be happening with it.
You see arteriolar sclerosis. You see the blood vessels in the back of the eye. I get to see blood vessels without using a knife. Every other profession has to cut you open to look at your blood vessels. We look through the little window, your pupil, and we see everything that's going on in your body and your blood vessels to a point. So if it's going on in your eyes, it's going on in your body. And so a diabetic and with a bunch of hemorrhages, and you typically not always see somebody who hasn't seen the gym in a long time or whatnot. And that's why we're talking about fasting, okay? So you can see I can see that you had a scar in your eye from something that happened. Oh, when did you get the foreign body in your eye? And you find out they're a welder at the shipyard, or whatever it might be. So from accidents to on purposes to consequences, you can see all these things in the eyes, and it's all interrelated with the body.
By looking into the eye and seeing all these millions of vessels or whatever it is you see, can you look at somebody and go, you need to go see a heart specialist or this? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Really?
I pick up the phone. I'm never the smartest guy in the room. I'm the only guy in the room, but I'm a phone call away from a number of them. And I kid you not, in front of patients all day long. Not all day long, but frequently. I'm calling up people and doing what I need to do. It's my style of eye care.
You know what's funny about that?
I'm a huge networker.
I used my very first PCP, who's now practicing in Texas, I believe it is, did not hesitate to walk out of the room and come back with a book.
Oh, yeah, I got a hallway full of books.
Yeah, he did not hesitate to walk out, come back with a book, or probably walk out, make a phone call, or call someone in, a specialist or something. And I like that.
Yeah.
I like that because back when I started seeing him, that wasn't the norm. And at first when it happened, you're going, oh, he doesn't know. And then you're going, whoa, he's finding out.
It's
there's two sides to that coin.
We just had a lovely woman known in the community the other day with a boo-boo in her eyes. And it was something I haven't seen but once in my career or twice. And I knew what page in the book it was in this atlas from my residency program.
No.
And I kid you not. And I walked out there, I grabbed it, and her jaw hit the ground. And I was showing my son's working at the office this summertime. I have 2 UVA pre-med students. My son is going to be a freshman or first year there and a fourth year. And so I teach all the time. I patients and it's been really nice because I'm teaching. The deal with these guys is they're working for me, but they're going to get a dose full of clinical wisdom.
Sure.
And it's been great. But anyway, just books. Einstein was asked, "How do you know so much?" He says, "I don't know. I just know where to look it up." And but on this fasting stuff, okay?
Yeah. Boy, this is
America.
I want to point out this is the first time he's gotten me back on track. So normally, I'm setting up the little railroad and going, okay, I'm going to stay on the track.
We eat too much, too wrong, and too often, and that's it.
All right. Well, I got a question. Just text it in before you go to the fasting. Danny's Autoglass and Mirror Studio line. In fact, I have 2. Ask Dr. Wilcox, can you look in somebody's eyes and determine if they have early stages of dementia?
Yes.
And
yes, you can. That doesn't mean if you look and don't see it, you're not going to have it.
Right.
So matter of fact, I have doctors who send me their patients with cognitive issues and to look and see, confirm. And there's things we actually do in our office with magnetism and energy and to assist them.
I think I know the answer to this one. I'm going to ask the question, and then I'll. Does Dr. Wilcox dilate eyes for diabetic exams?
Well, I have.
You have a machine.
Well, yeah, we have an instrument, this Aiden camera that gives us phenomenal views of the back of the eye. And yes, we do dilate eyes, but no, you don't have to dilate eyes if you get a phenomenal view. And we do it all day long, and it's amazing. I don't know how eye doctors, and this goes on, don't use cameras and imaging, because when I have a picture of the back of your eye and you're sitting there next to me and it's a huge picture of it, all this, I can zoom in and zoom out. You as a patient, when I point to that boo-boo with that thing and I say this is because of that, the belief it skyrockets.
Right.
Everyone, the number of people who have changed their life, they start fasting or eat better or whatever it is because of what I've done, is on a daily basis. Why didn't my other eye doctor do this? I don't know. That's the way they run their practice. This is how I run my practice.
Yeah, no offense to the other guy.
But when you're sitting there and your job is to educate your patients so that they're healthier later, then this is a great tool to do it. Yeah. So
okay, what I wanted him to talk about today was fasting, because he's a big believer in it, and you started off by talking about how everything in the body in one way or another is connected. Mm-hmm. And now the fasting.
Okay, so let's talk about, let's not ignore the fact that, God, there's so many ways you can go with this. COVID, who gets sick and die? People with bad immune systems and people who are inflamed, inflammation, fire, okay, in the body. The diabetics skyrocketing in this country. You go look up Peter Menzel, the Peter Menzel, and the Hungry Planet, it's called. There's a guy who goes around the world taking pictures of what people eat for a week at a time, all over the globe. And it's just amazing to see these pictures of what people eat. And the healthiest people are usually these families in Africa or whatever, and they have bags of grain, and that's all they're eating, raw materials, real food. And they're not eating processed food, and they have beautiful white teeth, and they're straight, and all these things. So you start looking at what you want to do is you want to go emulate people who are healthy and go, I want to do what they're doing. And you're going to be healthier. You watch Phil Mickelson play golf, not Peter Wilcox play golf, because he's better at it, right?
Right.
And so on the fasting stuff, we have too many bad things going to our body as we're trying to construct cells, and you're making bad products. So we eat too much, too wrong, and too often. And so fasting, when you take your body and you eat your breakfast, and breakfast is break fast, right? You break your fast. You slept all night and you break your fast. You don't have to eat breakfast at 8 o'clock or 6 o'clock in the morning. You can eat it at noon, and now you extended your fast. But once you eat that, and breakfast is typically on the run, go food, and it's usually bad food. It's full of processed sugars and sweeteners and this, that, and the other. And so when you put that into your body, you break your fast, and your body goes into a new mode. And so the mode it has to do with glucose and glycogen and gluconeogenesis and all these sugar transactions that happen.
Okay, let me pause.
Yes,
Two
sir.
things. Just announced 2 p.m. opening at the Coleman. Thank you, Ted on the road. Can extending your overnight fast to noontime help?
Yes. So let me.
It seems like so natural. So
So what happens is, it's about insulin resistance. Okay, and so it's hormonal that we're trying to get in the way of. So the longer you have a period of non-eating, you don't put anything in your gut, the better your body is going to be going into these primary, secondary, and tertiary ways of storing energy. So when you put in something into your body is going to burn it up quickly, or if you have too much, it's going to store it. And then if you get in the place of not putting in new fuels in your body's going to burn through the easy stuff. And then it's going to go try to get the stored stuff, which are fats. And then it's going to get into this place of ketosis, making different quality energies, okay? And I'm trying to keep it simple.
Right.
So you burn off the quick burn, you go to the next stage, and then you go to this third stage. And the third stage you get into is when you get into multiple hours and even days of fasting. Fasting doesn't mean you don't drink water and whatnot, but and so when you do that, your body, you're purging yourself of. When you have fat, you have a lot of toxins tied to your fat. They're stored there, and you're detoxifying yourself. And then you start losing that weight. You improve your insulin resistance over time, and then you're going to have a better chance of having good eyes in the rest of your life, because lower chance of cardiovascular disease, endothelial disease. I mean, COVID is a blood vessel disease, and so to go through this fasting, I like to look at the extremes. Every religion, the Christians, the Jews, the Hindus, the Muslims, they all, in their Bibles, in their books,
they all have certain fasting times.
And you ask yourself why. And this is the why. This is Peter's why on this whole thing. If I'm going to walk into the important place, I'm going to dress up and have
right.
And so if you're going to talk to your God, to your God, insert religion there, it's better done when you're clean. And so when your brain, when it works on these ketones, these tertiary things, you burn with less exhaust. So when you burn with less exhaust, you have cleaner thoughts. So the reason these religions they recommend fasting is because you think better, and you have this clarity of thought that happens, because when you're burning the easy burns, the sugary thing you just ate, it's like burning a car tire versus burning moonshine. You burn moonshine or alcohol, you don't see the flame. There's no exhaust. You burn a car tire or whatever the heck it is, you see all this black smoke. So when you fast, you're burning energy without all the exhaust, because now you're getting into the cleaner burns.
So bottom line, though, just a simple extension of if you go to bed at midnight, just simply extending that non-eating till noon is beneficial.
Yes, it is. And you shouldn't eat right before you go to bed. Give yourself a chance to. You should be 3 hours before bed. So quickly, I have patience.
The closer I eat to bedtime equates to a higher number on the scale.
Yes, and it has to go to what's your body going to do with this stuff, and put it on your butt. And so me in fasting, I'm frequently a Monday. I don't eat on Mondays. You eat Sunday night, then you don't eat till Tuesday.
Really?
Oh yeah, I got a lot of patients who we text each other and whatnot, and who like they're hey Peter, how you doing today? What's going on? And I don't always do it. It's easier to do in the winter time and whatnot. And just like there's seasons of the year, there's seasons of fasting when it's easier to do. So skipping breakfast is good. I frequently don't eat lunch. I'm busy at the office, and my staff can all attest to that. And again, I'm not preaching. I'm teaching. So don't ever look at me and say, "Oh, look at you." I'm just giving you ideas as I struggle.
We're going to have to have him in on a Tuesday morning one time to see if he's grumpy.
Oh, I'll go 4 days. And
you'll go 4 days?
Not often, but you should go. Listen, you take better care of your car than you do your body. How often do you flush your transmission? How often do you change your oil in your car?
I don't, but a guy does.
Right.
Yeah.
How do you have it done? And the thing is, how often do you clean out your body by just letting just water pass through it? And in my fast, I have a little cheat on my fast. I have a cup of bone broth for dinner, and it's just a cup and warm it up on the stove, and it feels so good going down. So it's really not breaking
bone broth
fast.
Is like a chicken broth
It's
that
just
you make.
It's all these minerals sucked out of the bones and whatever. But yeah, I'll skip. I'll stop eating on a Sunday, and then I won't eat till Thursday. once, twice a year. But and it's easy to do. The day 2 is the hardest. Day 3 gets fun. And if you read Jason Fung, F-U-N-G, Jason Fung, go to YouTube, listen to Dr. Fung talk, buy his book, read his book, get an education about fasting. So for the beginner, you skip a meal and you try to have, instead of 3 meals a day, you have 2. And then once you do that for a little bit, then you skip 2 meals and say, I'm going to have if you just eat dinner every night, it's a 24-hour fast. Congratulations. And then if you keep doing that and you can extend it, at the end of the day, you just want to have a new cadence to your life, a new way of being. But when you work from a base of knowledge and you know why you do what you do, then it's better. Love your body, and take care of it.
We got to go.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about this more.
Yep.
The next time you're in.
Okay.
All right?
I will.
Because it's fascinating. I think it's really good. And again, we'll relate it back to the eyes again. Because we were talking entire body, which again affects the eyes, as you say, but you know what I'm saying. All right. Dr. Wilcox Eye Center. Always. What about fasting for again,
what's the next question?
What about fasting for diabetics?
Yes, and more cautious because they have insulin problems, and the reason we put on weight and whatnot is a hormonal insulin problem. So yes, talk. Every family doctor would love to have you work with a dietitian and food expert and whatnot. So how brittle of a diabetic are you? Your medicines have to be monitored. So the caution always goes there. Talk to your doc. I can give you ideas. I can point you to books. But you can make yourself, a lot of people can make themselves undiabetic. And it's a process. It's a marathon.
Do you drink coffee?
I do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I just wondered.
Yeah.
How much have you had this morning?
I'm a cup.
It just seemed like an obvious question.
And,
all right, we got to go.
Yes.
But there's your answer, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks, I think.
Okay. Just for that person, F-U-N-G, Jason Fung, go get an education, YouTube, buy his book, and talk to me if you need to.